and today we're going to talk about hydration in lifestyle medicine. It's just beyond drinking water and water intake. From cell to microbiomes, and water is foundation of our life. Hydration really matters. We're based on 60 to 70% on water, and a lot of different microorganisms that live within us thanks to the water. Water is life. And if we have a small imbalance in water or water tension within our organism, like for example during the night time, we're going through a lot of different metabolic changes. And if during the day they experience dehydration or be constantly and chronically dehydrated, we will see a lot of metabolic shifts. So that's why today I want to explain you basic and the key points in hydration and what potentially you might do wrong. Hydration supports circulation. Hydration supports detoxification of different toxins from our organism and also playing a very important role in temperature control. When it's too hot, we get in sweat. They excrete and protect the skin, and the skin is one of the biggest organs in our organism. And of course, it's also shifting our metabolism. The hydration linked to fatigue, to different sort of headaches, to brain fogs, extra and more speeding up aging, and most importantly, inflammation. And lifestyle medicine view on hydration as behavior therapy, not just as supplementation or something extra. If you notice that you're not hydrating yourself, you have to change your habits and make routine to take water regularly in the right order and the right content with the water. Because chronic mild dehydration is estimated of 75% of people daily, 75%. So we have no idea how to hydrate. Hydration is not just drinking water. No, that's not. True hydration is a balance between water, electrolytes, circular hydration, and microbiomes. Yes, they all matters because just water is not enough. I see a lot of people, it is so popular now, sending a lot of bottles of water. They're drinking filtered water without any single electrolyte or any single micronutrient in there, and they don't feel result. Actually, they might feel even worse. And today we're gonna talk about these possible side effects of overhydration. Water in tissue must cross a cell membrane, not just enter to the bloodstream. That's the easy part. But for that, they need tiny little electrolyte. We need potassium, we need sodium, we need magnesium, we need even in some cases calcium. So all these circulation nutrients are important. And if you're not taking them enough, if you're not over food, and usually during the day with not only is eating, they won't be able to do the job and enter the cells on the right way. Because intracellular dehydration actually affects our metabolism and on our energy production, on our brain, how we can concentrate, on the way how we can perform, how we can even sleep. It's very important. So make sure you do it on the right way. Because water quantity, in terms about how much water do you drink, not necessarily water quality. And here it's to understand that hydration needs to be balanced to absorb by the cells efficient way and do the job. You might even need less water. So we are talking about 2-3 liters per day, but in some occasions you might require less than 2 liters per day. It really depends on the season, on this time of the day, on your previous workout or your daily routines. So we're all different. However, we need to understand how to do it on the right order. Over drinking plain water without electrolytes or not rich with microelements, without minerals, cause dilution and fatigue. So if you're drinking a lot of just plain filtered water, you might feel even worse. And in terms of hydration, you will not benefit enough, because biological hydration is retained within the cells in a structured water, not just in volume. Let's talk about morning hydration, because morning hydration is the time when we are the most dehydrated. And how do we know we're dehydrated? Because when we pass in urine in the morning, it's concentrated, and concentrated yellow, quite dark. That means that it's not enough of water, and our kidney working quite hard in the night, and the produce is quite dark urine. So it's always the tension, and you need attention if you notice that your urine not light enough. So how do we start the morning? You're waking up. We highly recommend to drink 300 milliliters up to half a liter upon your waking up, and you might add a little bit of salt or lemon as electrolytes. I'm going to talk a little bit later about different recipes what you can do in the morning, because a little pinch of electrolyte will hydrate your cells much better. And filtered water or just the water will be not enough to give your cells this energy and hydration during the day to produce the same energy. Sip slowly in terms if you have a higher or a high end of blood pressure, and faster if you in the lower end of your blood pressure. So if you know that your morning blood pressure is quite low, you can drink a little bit faster. If it's in the higher end, sip slowly within 15-20 minutes. Slowly, yeah? Hydrate. Avoid caffeine before dehydration. So ideally, we don't want anything, because morning hydration is the fastest. It's the fastest that you can hydrate yourself is in the morning. You're so thirsty. Everybody wants to get there. So it's very important to drink with electrolytes, with minerals, to deliver every single cells this boost for the day, because during the night we lose around half a liter or even up to 1 liter of water. Remember, we have transdermal water loss. Just put your hand to your neck and you feel the heat, and that's water. It's vaporization. So we lose, and big, of course, your body. Yeah, the more water you lose, so the more you need to hydrate your cells back. And of course, if it's you sleeping in the hot environment or been dehydrated the day before, or you're going through this stressful time in your life, so many different factors. Of course, the summer, for example, or anything. Even when you produce a lot of energy, when you produce this energy, water gets produced intracellular, but we're going to lose them anyway. So in the morning, hydration happens the fastest way, from 10 to 20 minutes. It really depends on your age, different factors involved in there. Please note that the normal during your day, to hydrate your body will take up to from 60 to 90 minutes. Earliest can happen 45 minutes. So it's quite a long process, and in the morning is the fastest. So that's why I highly recommend start your day with a right drink. Okay, now let's talk about, I mentioned before a little bit about blood pressure. So if you naturally, blood pressure is the highest in the morning. So we know because of the cortisol goes up together with trying to raise up the glucose as well. And as a result, overnight loss, dehydration causes vasopressin go in action. We have a mild dehydration, and as a result, higher blood pressure, because this is a job of vasopressin. And it's important to slow and give this water slowly, because if you very fast increase the volume, and it's going fast within 10 minutes, your blood pressure might go even higher. So do it better slowly. There's sip by sip. If you know you're a little bit prone to the high blood pressure in the morning, and then during the daytime it's going down, or if you're low your blood pressure, you can drink a little bit faster, and then your blood pressure give you a little bit more awakeness, and you'll be a little bit more energized. And of course, deep breathing to slow down water intake for people with high blood pressure, to stabilize this blood pressure. Just breathe, do it slowly, yeah. And with low end, if you're suffering from a low blood pressure, you want it lifted, you can do it faster. Okay, let's talk about recipes. I love recipes of the good, easy morning hydration drinks. We can do that. They only need few ingredients. Number one is coconut water with lemon. So you can mix coconut water, get a little bit of water, mix it with water, because there are natural electrolytes. So what you do and how you do this mix is absolutely up to you. Lemon and honey. Warm water with lemon, a little bit of honey is a gentle energy boost. Again, it's not really necessarily warm or cold water. It's your preferences. Maybe it depends on the season, the time of the year, or where do you live, or what you prefer. It's really up to you, because both waters is fine of any hydration. This term's organism will detect what is where. Cucumber and mint water, so you can make an extract, a little bit of cucumber and a little bit of mint. It's a cooling, refreshing, and also rich in different electrolytes and microelements. And of course, pinch of salt is potassium with lemon. Be careful if you're in a higher range of if your blood pressure a little bit higher, but what might be better than Himalayan or pink salt, a little bit of lemon, but also rich of citrates and potassium, and they will give you this electrolytes for quite fast hydration in your cells. And of course, you might try apple cider vinegar, or any type diluted vinegar with water. You can add tiny little trace of honey as well, because they are rich of different types of micro elements, and they will very good kickstart for your digestion, and it's quite good for your microbiomes and glucose spikes for people who suffer from unstable glucose. At least there is a lot of evidences and a lot of papers, but for some people it might be good start. Okay, practical hydration strategy again. Why? Because we even don't know sometimes what is our morning blood pressure. Do you know your morning blood pressure? Do you know it's very important lifestyle medicine and for the way how you're going to spend your day. So that's why it's important to start your day with the right measurements and the right correct routine. So low blood pressure, people drink 300 to half a liter water quite quickly to raise your temporal blood pressure, to get energized, and whatever you want to do after that is maybe a little stretching, a little physical activity, or you might go to the cold shower, or whatever your days is, you will feel a little bit more energized, like give you energy for movement, and they will improve also your mood. And high blood pressure, opposite. You started slowly, you're waking up a little bit slowly. If you know you're on a higher end, you go higher, then the sip slowly with the breathing techniques, the low stretching and movement always help, to distribute water to every single cell. Movement is crucial for hydration. It's a part of hydration. It's movement, because if we don't move, they get dehydrated. And practical meditation, I would say breathing exercise, all that routine. Make this as routine. Stretching, movement in the morning. We know that stretching and tiny little exercise in the morning is superficial. First of all, to stretch your muscles, your neck, your shoulders, your back, depend on your sleeping position, and gentle movement as well. They activate potassium and calcium pathways, and these pumps that pushing to the cells and out. As a result, you'll be more awake. If you have a trouble to wake up in the morning or trouble to exercise, because people find it's impossible to exercise because in the evening because it's super tight and they shouldn't, and they're not got this energy in the morning. So let's start to learn how to wake up the right way to get this energy for exercise. So, tiny little movement, just drink a little bit with different sort of waters for electrolytes, maybe cold shower, and 5-10 minutes of gentle extremity is very important, because it's never always some after a sleeping position not the best in the night, waking up, no, it's here, something, pain in the back in the shoulders. So move. Okay, because electrolytes is the gatekeepers of hydration. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, super important, very important for the muscle, very important for the bones, but for the muscle, for the movement, because together with calcium, they regulate osmotic balance. They all regulate osmotic balance, but mainly is contraction of the muscle. Then they start to move, yeah. This happening contraction mechanism, the magnesium and calcium play a very important role. So once we start to move, we need this magnesium. Magnesium, we have less in water. That's why we all recommend take magnesium in the evening or during the day, whatever you prefer. But magnesium glucinate, magnesium citrate, or other form of magnesium, essential for daily life, mainly if you exercise and you want to build up this muscle, this strength, because signaling in the muscle and contraction, the muscle require a lot of magnesium. So make sure you don't have lack of magnesium. And electrolyte imbalance frequently links to frequent urination, cramps, and fatigue. Of course, like frequent urination is always the sign of some sort of inflammation process going on. So it's really worth to check why you have regular urination. For the man after 40s, might be linked to the prostate. For ladies, might be linked to some sort of urinary tract infection, actually for both genders. So it's really worth to investigate why you urinate. Quite often you might be simply dehydrated, or you're not drinking enough, or your water just not enough electrolytes for your cells to get there. So sodium holds water in circulation, so we need sodium, and mainly for people with a lower blood pressure. I'm not saying you have to. Genetic factors probably here playing as well the role, and hormonal parts, movement, how actively we move around. Potassium moves water in the cells, so they have this concentration moving, you know, gradients, how they're moving from high concentration lower. Magnesium regulates energy productions and energy water balance, but together is very important. That is playing crucial role in muscle contractions. And trace mineral, they stabilize membrane, pH, in pH in general. Water, glucose spikes, and metabolic health. Glucose spikes is important, and is a pandemic of these spikes, pandemic of diabetes, pandemic of insulin resistance and metabolic health, because first of all they spike too often, and correct intake of water might help us with those spikes. Before meal, mild pre-meal hydration is beneficial, but we need to do it half an hour to 20 minutes before the meal. We don't want to drink too much water together with other meal, because if you drink a little bit half an hour before, 20 minutes before and after, so, and during the thing, literally this window 1 hour, we don't recommend to drink, because they will cause you more spikes of glucose, and they don't want it, because high spike, higher insulin production, and as a result more insulin resistance later on. So that's why try to record. I know it will be hard because it's something new, recommendation for us drink half an hour before, and we don't know when we're gonna be able to drink our water. And usually when they sit in restaurant, it's easier because it takes so long for them to cook your food. So make sure you drink, and then you leave your drink after, half an hour after you finish your food, because drinking just before or during the meal, or just after the meal, after main range meal, dilute stomach acid. So we dilute it, and a slow digestion, and creating us even more bloating, and they don't want this to happen. So proper improve. That's why we have a lot more concentration in the stomach with less water. They will speed up your digestion. They will be lighter, less bloating, and better bowel movements. And of course, as well, that will affect as well your glucose spikes. And small sips are fine. So if you want, just sip a little bit of water, that will be absolutely fine. gut hydration and microbiomes. I love microbiomes. Everybody loves them because microbiomes, they are key to hydration. These guys, they're so important. And of course they produce very important in terms. Sometimes think that a stool is dehydrated. They think they are dehydrated, but actually they need change your diet to hydrate our gut, because hydrated mucus protect beneficial bacteria, and if you have a dehydrated mucus lining, they feed in bad bacteria and then causing constipation. But the fiber as well, together with water, like water, as I would say, like broccoli, steamed broccoli, for example, yeah, they hydrate. You have water in there. They will help you to pass more formed stool, to pass easier and less dehydration. So morning hydration together with the fiber is actually very, very good idea. Not straight away, so you hydrate with water and then you might have a fiber. I don't know, very popular nowadays is the chia seeds. They're very rich in fiber and they're very light, and it's good to start for the day. You can have a yogurt or with kefir, or you can flaxseed or any other fiber types. Depends on your glucose and your breakfast routine, what's suitable for you for breakfast. Exercise is the engine of hydration. It is just super important. If you don't move enough, you might be dehydrated. Movement is so much. So if you have a high blood pressure as well, not on the high end, but higher, that's mean probably dehydrated, and you're not going to achieve that if you not start moving around. So movement is a circulation of the fluids and activity of lymph flow. This is very important. Muscle contraction triggering water enter into the cells. They stimulate sodium potassium channels in the palms and magnesiums, and muscle get contracted. They getting out, they getting in. So it's a lot of processes. The most crucial, most essential microelements going on. Then they're moving around, even me, like with hands, or it's good. It's good. If not, I'm gonna sit here without talking and I will be too much dehydrated. Okay, sweating and rehydration teaches the body for self-regulation of the water, and morning stretching as discussed, or even stretching and walking after any food. Yeah, it's a very good idea. Maybe for 10-15 minutes, even moving your extremities is a good idea, because when they're taking the food, yeah, you don't want is usually water in there as well. Please note there's still hydration. Then eating soup during lunch or dinner, and slight movement will help hydrate your cells, and a lot of microelements with our food, because it's so I hope it's balanced, yeah, and they will hydrate you as well. So that's why balance, nutrition, balanced diet here is the key. We're gonna support you. Lymphatic drainage, fat tissue, and hydration. So lymph is a water-based detox network. They go in there, depends on the area, everywhere. Lymph going there and on the pathways, and picking up the stuff, and really important for our hydration. And if you'll be dehydrated, lymph can't do the job, and as a result you will build up this inflammation, because your lymphatic system can't do properly the job, and dehydration also thickening your lymph as well, and creating fluid retention, and this toxin getting bottled up. So that's why massages, movement again here is essential. Proper hydration will support your metabolism, support your detox, support your lymph drainage, and yeah, so the movement, stretching, yoga together with water actually is essential for lymphatic flow. And of course they arrived to talk about mitochondria and structural water. First of all, mitochondria already produce intracellular water, then they do the process of energy production. So the mitochondria is super smart. It has everything we needed, but of course, water and this is done via respiration. So that's why deep breathing technique and meditation actually will help support your intracellular, because breathing proper, good, calm breathing will hydrate you. Because it will improve your metabolic water within a cell. Infrared light as well actually will help and stimulate a little bit mitochondria, and movement enhance water structure. So again, we're coming back to movement. You probably didn't expect that movement is so much about hydration. And of course, aging. Sadly, with aging, we hold less water. They are much more dehydrated. They're losing the structure of the cells. The cell not holding the water, not the same way they used to. And that's why with age, they're getting more tired. We don't have this energy comparison to young children, because the cells actually, hydration is one of them. Of course, not only hydration or the water, no, it's all cells together in the way how they can keep this balance and energy. Hydration and longevity. As we discussed, 75% dehydrated is really one in the day. So not saying you're dehydrated at all the time, but we having days with severe dehydration, and some of us are chronically dehydrated. And we need to remember, if you will be dehydrated, you will age much faster. You might look better. In aesthetic medicine, we do so many different treatments, and actually a lot of them is to hold the water. Hyaluronic acid, polydioxinone, any laser therapy, because everything what they do, we want to hydrate our skin hydration, we inject everything, mesotherapy with different electrolytes, and with saline, we dilute always with saline, and water supports cellular detox and vascular flexibility. And I would say here we can even say occasionally vitamin drips or just hydration drips might be beneficial, mainly when you're getting a little bit older, to deliver this to the bloodstream with a different, maybe with the same magnesium, or with calcium. Need to be a little more careful because of the heartbeat. But yes, different mixtures of vitamins and microelements, there will be actually a good idea occasionally to have some boost of hydration. Alcohol, of course, is not beneficial for hydration, because alcohol suppresses vasopressin, or ADH, with antidiuretic hormone, and as a result, mineral loss. So we're losing a lot, and it's very important to hydrate 1 unit of a glass of water per unit of alcohol, and that's a lot. So try not to drink. If you drink, make sure you after that use first of all you move and you drink a lot of water with electrolytes, and of course reduce increase gut permeability, and as a result inflammation and microbiome damage. And alcohol does kill, because it's alcohol, depends on concentration. If your alcohol does destroy microbiomes, and yes, they have some sort of tiny benefits of antioxidant, but it's so tiny, you need to don't know how many liters you need to drink of something to get benefits. But the damage from alcohol is much more proved than benefits. So that's why, if you got the chance, we still in our social culture, we still drink and celebrate, mainly Western world, we still drink champagne, some sort of celebration. For the past 100 years, it's become some sort of culture. We have no idea how to rid of this culture now, and 100 years ago it wasn't that culture. Somehow in the past 100 years they created this culture of champagne for the new year, or wine for the Christmas and stuff. That's never been in human culture. And in social events, sometimes when you go, you're under the pressure to drink wine. So make sure you better ask for, I don't know, coconut water with with honey or lemon or lime to hydrate straight away after, or sip a little bit for social benefits in the social events, rather drink alcohol. But if you do, just hydrate yourself after. So let's talk about more energizing drinks like coffee, tea, and what they do. Of course, they moderate caffeine, mild diuretic, and you recommend as well after the coffee. We know ideally we need to drink as well water. Tea, they're more beneficial in this case because they're rich, if it's green tea or other forms of green tea, they're rich of polyphenols that support vascular health and reduce oxidative stress. So in this case, green tea and rich in polyphenols tea or drinks might be beneficial. Please avoid coffee on an empty stomach because it just increases your dehydration, and they will spike your cortisol. As a result, your sugar might go up, and they will get this spike, and it will be harder for us. So first drink when you're taking in the morning is essential, and if you take coffee before water, then water by, that's it. To hydrate your cells, you need to wait for an hour, 45, maybe even 90 minutes. It's calm. And you will feel maybe more foggy. You will feel, yes, coffee will, some people will give you this energy boost, but believe me, the right electrolyte water will give you much more benefits. They can drink your coffee later, maybe half an hour after your hydrated morning hydration. And the difference, if you decide, I start actually more drink some rich green tea, mocha, that sort of drinks, green tea, because they have a similar effect on me, and I don't know, I just start to change a little bit. Maybe you decide what is right for you. So smoothies and soups. As we know, combined water with minerals and fiber with antioxidants is a good hydration. You can add in different smoothies if you like soups and that sort of nutrition. Just add some chia, some cucumber, some berries, or some sort of greens. They will be high in electrolytes content, but remember that will be already more like as nutrition. And don't take it. It is hydration, of course, it will be good hydration for you, but please note that it's more on the food side than just a drink. If you add as well some kefir, fermented foods, or yogurt, they will help with gut retain water, and will increase your microbiome diversity. And try to make these smoothies or soups by yourself. Try to avoid commercial because they always put a lot of different preservatives, and preservatives you don't want to affect your microbiomes, not in a very good way. They will kill them, because they want your product, this super smoothie, stays as long as possible on the shelf. And your gut will be, with some good bacteria wouldn't like the formulation. And of course, usually there'll be a lot of sugar in there, and this sugar will boost the more negative bad bacteria in the gut. Make yourself, if you like soups or you prefer smoothies. Water quality and filtration. I would say, me as in others, there's so many disputes online about microplastic, about heavy metals, about chlorine in the water. They have so many different filters, and they put this filter on the filter. So they put the filter on another tap, and then we put a special bottle, have an extra filter there, and then they drink that water. Please remember that we're removing all the microelements as well. So yes, we do filter it, but please make sure you add electrolytes, some lemon, some little bit of cucumber, some peach, a little bit of salt, or a tiny little bit of honey, something, or coconut water, something in there, So I'm not against you filter it, but make sure you replace and make your water more beneficial for yourself, because minerals, they will enhance absorptions, they will protect your microbiomes, and even improve the taste. So now let's talk about still and sparkling water. Some people prefer still, Some people prefer sparkling. Still is neutral, optimal for digestion and optimal for hydration, and sparkling is my lower pH and might be a little bit creating a bloating in excess and irritate the gut occasionally. Not for everyone. It really depends on your microbiomes. It really depends on your how you respond to this water. So that some people respond nicely to sparkling water. Some prefer still, but moderate sparkling water can aid society, and that's not ideal during the meals. But during the meals, not ideal any type of water. So it's better to drink before, or half an hour before approximately, or half an hour after. But try to mineralize it still for microbiomes, health, and for cells. Yeah. So now let's talk about signs of dehydration. So what are they? How do we know are you dehydrated or not? Is first of all, is urine get dark? Yeah, it's first sign. That means you're simply not drinking enough of water. Then fatigue, headaches, dizziness, dry mouth, and yeah, as I said, concentrated urine. In chronic occasions, you might have constipation, you might have a mood swing, so mood might be not really regulated. You might have a skin dryness and thick lymph, yeah, because of dehydration. Early sign as well is maybe you're dry, might feel a little bit more dehydrated and dry, and poor sweating, so you're not sweat enough, you're not responding as enough, but is already quite dehydration, like a proper like chronic dehydration. Persistent thirst despite drinking is also mean that you don't have enough electrolytes, and make sure you have you add electrolytes, and within the time your cells get used to it, and you will treat your chronic condition. Remember, chronic dehydration has to be treated. It's a treatment plan. Yeah, it's not like one off, I treat it now. No, one off is not enough. You need to change your lifestyle, you need to change your behavior. You need to learn, and you should take it seriously, because one tiny little thing as dehydration might lead you to much more serious problems like high blood pressure. Even as we know, it's affected in our spikes of insulin together with wrong choices in our diet. They might just speed up your insulin resistance and even obesity. Yeah, so all these things very important. So dry air, air conditioning, or high altitude causing us the rapid water loss through breathing and through the skin. So as well, remember, then we produce energy as well. We do use a lot of energy, and we need to hydrate ourselves. And of course, certain types of medication like diuretic and antihistamines, they do the hydration job. Okay. Hydration and constipation, indigestion, colon draws a lot of water absorbed, and dehydration mean is combined together with microbiomes, of course, the harder stool and slow motility. Yeah, so as a result, you might be bloated, you might have constipation issues. So that's why fiber, again, together with water, will improve your bowel movements and hydration, and naturally will improve your bowel regulation. And so gut microbiomes produce a short chain fatty acids that keeps actually our colon hydrated. So make sure you eat fibers that bring us a lot of short chain fatty acids. I have a lecture about them, so I'm not going to go in deep. No, I'm not going to talk too much about them, but please refer to one of my lectures when I talk about, I think, fibers or carbs. This is lecture about definitely when I discuss what is the short chain fatty acids, why they're important. And don't drink large volumes before and after, because they will delay and actually might increase your sugar spikes. So exercise, movement crucial, very important for hydration. and we need, depends on your age, your gender, and of course depends on your physical activity and what you have done. It was strength, or it was resilience, or what type of exercise you was doing. We have to replace up to at least half a liter, 750 to 1.5 liters of water ratio of electrolytes. Remember, if you sweat a lot, you give a lot. That's why the sweat is so salty, isn't it? It just is tasty, and there's a reach of a lot of things, and might even smell, because together come so many microbes. Not smelling straight away, you get, but it starts to smell very, very quickly, because it's a reach of it's quite rich things with urea, moisturizing properties, and a little bit of fat, and of course a lot of electrolytes coming out. We lose a lot of sodium, potassiums. That's why make sure you might even buy this sports electrolytes for hydration. There are plenty of them nowadays, or you can make your own. Avoid plain water overload because they just dilute your sodium. So make sure you put at least a little bit of salt in there, or light mineralized water after the workout is essential for fast recovery. And for the muscles, remember that's magnesium, glucinate or citrate, or magnesium here essential to keep your muscles contracted. When you might need less water, because you might overhydrate yourself if you drink too much plain water without electrolytes. These people who drink in this filtered water, a lot of filtered water, they dilute actually electrolytes already in the bloodstreams, but they don't bring new electrolytes, and they might be low in sodium, and that actually might cause you even lower blood pressure, lowering your blood pressure in some lean individuals, of people more in a low blood pressure, and don't actually lose much sweat in the people if in the cold environment, so the same as UK in winter time, and actually you're more trying to warm up rather than sweat. In this case, correct your water intake. You don't need to drink plenty of water comparison to the hot environment, in regular constantly sweating, and have a kidney or heart conditions, because overhydration might have an effect on your heart when you drink fast. With blood pressure and heart issue, remember to do it slowly with breathing, and ideally with tiny little movement. Symptoms of overhydration actually is a little bit similar in terms of headaches. You might have headaches, you might have even nausea a little bit, you might have a swelling and confusion because you might be low in sodium. So overhydration will leak electrolytes actually. Yeah, so make sure you have electrolytes. That's it for today. I hope you learned something new, and you will start drink water more with understanding, more mindfully, and more lectures. Please follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, or even on TikTok, and more lectures come. Have a good day. Thank you for listening.